Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Welcome to a very, very special exclusive show for all the Sangat watching today. Today's show, as promised, is about learning and teaching how to tie at Dastaar. So I've had many emails, so thank you for those. And I have been saying for many weeks that we will be teaching you how to tie Dastaar, because I am sure there are many people out there who don't know how to, or they want to but they have no idea where to start. So this show is for you. Before we start, just grab a pen and paper so you can write and make notes as well. So today with me in the studio I have two lovely special guests. Would you like to introduce yourself first, Virji?
My name is Bhagat Singh and I'm from Willenhall.
Thank you very much. And yourself, what's your name?
My name is Prabhjyot Singh.
And where are you from?
Willenhall.
Okay, and how old are you?
14.
14. Thank you very much for coming on to the show. Appreciate it a lot. It's not easy coming on and, especially, being a guest. So thank you for that. And also, so what year are you not at school?
9.
Year 9, okay. And you tied Dastaar to school?
No, I just tired Patka.
Patka at the moment, but you're hoping to tie Dastaar, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. So this show is especially for those who have no idea, who want to learn how to tie one, or you're intrigued, you want to know what how do you tie one, so in the future you might want to as well. So I think we should start now, Virji.
That's fine,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
So what do we need?
First of all, you would need to tie a gear ski underneath.
Okay.
This would be to help with the foundation of tying the malla, and it would give it more of a structure. And with the gear ski, it's the case of it would be a smaller kapra, a shorter kapra to help, like I said, secure the foundation and make it a better base for you to work on when tying the malla. Initially, we would start off with the bunga, and we'll start off right now.
Okay, let's just discuss material and how much you need. So what material do you need, what colour and how much?
Kapra can vary really, it depends on what you're comfortable with as well at the same time. So it could be the case that some people start off with a lot of material where it could be, I know the gear ski underneath could be the same length as the malla kapra on top. So you could have maybe 5 meters underneath and 5 meters on top. But the kapra does vary as well, and you can have various kapra. You could have malmal, you could have rubia, you could have full voile, and there might be some other ones out there that gurmukhs might be used to tying. But it's a case that the kapra can vary, but you will experiment over time and you'll know what kapra suits you and what you're comfortable with. It will also be the case that the colours you tend to choose would be the orange, the white, the blue,
the Khalsa colours.
The Khalsa colours.
Yes, that's great.
Hanji, if you're tying the malla, it is to represent the Khalsa Panth, so it's the case that you'd want to make sure you look the part when representing the Khalsa, really.
Okay, how many meters is yours, for example?
Mine, the one underneath is probably about 4.5 meters. The one on top is probably about 5.5 to 6 meters.
Okay, great.
And but over time, it's a case that you would experiment. You'd know how much kapra you'd get used to tying a certain length of kapra, and then you'll know what that kapra is. You'll get used to the material. You'll know instantly what kapra you're happier with as well.
And everyone's head's different and different sizes as well, so that's a big difference.
And you want to be comfortable when tying it, so it wouldn't be the case that I need to tie the biggest damalla or I need to tie the smallest. You tie one that suits you and you're comfortable with, and you want it to be secure as well at the same time. So again, these things take time. It's you could kind of call it a process, but you'd want it to be something you're comfortable with if you're going to wear it on a regular basis.
Definitely. Mine's 5 gear ski, 5 meters for my gear ski and 5 for my Dastaar, so just test it out. But I do advise buy 5 to start off with. Now in most shops you buy the material, but then I cut mine in half. Do you do that?
I do that as well. I know some people maybe use the full width that comes off the palm.
Let's just show the width. So this, you've cut this in half, haven't you?
Yes, this is for the gear ski that will be going underneath. Again, it's cut in half, and it's a shorter length purely so it's easier to tie. So for someone who's a first timer looking to start tying a gear ski, first of all, before even tying a damalla, it'd be the case that you'd want them to get used to it and not be too much of a task or too much of a difficult thing to actually take on. Because it can be the case when you're first starting to tie a gear ski or even a damalla, it could be the case that it can be quite difficult at times, and you've just got to try and overcome that. So if you start off with something small, and then expand. You'll get used to it, you'll get better at it, and it'll become second nature.
So in half, when we say half, not literally half, but this is half of the other, so this was double.
Yes,
Okay.
it was double in width, and we split
Yeah.
it down the middle lengthwise. And
You should do that, otherwise it's too hard to tie.
it can be tough, but then it varies on the kapra. Now,
Yeah.
I know mal kapra is very, very thin. It's very bleak, and with that, you could maybe, if you're comfortable in tying a bigger damalla, you could use the full width of that and use that to tie the malla. I know I've tried it in the past. I do it sometimes, and it's a case of what you're comfortable with. So you'll know the kapra you use, you'll know how to use it as well, and you'll know about what length to use as well over time.
To start off with, I do advise to use mal, the thinnest, because
Yeah.
then it's easier.
It could be,
When
yeah.
you get experience, then you can
Yeah.
start thick material.
Absolutely. Once you've developed that technique of being able to tie the malla,
Yeah.
you know how to tie it, which lodge to put where. It's a case that you'll make it, like I said, a stronger foundation. It'll be more secure on your head. And it's a case you'll feel, if it's secure on your head, you'll feel more comfortable wearing it around as well. You won't be the case that you're worried that it could slip backwards as it can do,
Yeah.
or it can get a bit illa over time.
Definite.
Handy.
Thank you very much. So let's crack on.
Okay, we'll start with tying of the malla. Then initially we're going to get Daranveer to actually remove his botka.
So we're going to start off with the mala, but we're going to start off with a keski.
Keski
so
underneath
we're going to
first.
do step by step, okay?
Yes.
So we'll be slow. So again, feel free to write it down and just...
We'll kind of guide it through as much
yeah,
as possible.
as much as possible, yeah. We're going to take
So
it
I'll
back
just
off. Yep.
get the gear ready as well. Like I said, this is probably about 4 meters. This is,
Okay.
but it can vary. If you've got a lot of case, you might not need as much kapra. If you've maybe got little case, very little case, or your case is your hair is quite thin, then it might be the case that you might want to use more kapra to help make it a bigger case underneath.
Lovely case here. Look how nice this
Absolutely.
case is, everyone.
Absolutely.
Really nice. So again, if you're worried that you've got no case, or perhaps you're very new to Sikhi and you're
Yeah.
thinking, what do I do? Simple, we'll show you now. It's just the method
Absolutely.
with your keski.
When you want to tie, when you want to start tying a damala, it depends how comfortable you feel. Initially, you may want to plait your case so it's easier to control initially, or you could have your case open, but the foundation of actually tying it will always be the same. So even when your case is open or plaited, it'll always be the same way, but you might feel
Same
comfortable
method,
having it plaited initially, especially if you've always tied a potka most of the time. So initially we'll start with having the case key covering almost the full length of the case at the front.
Okay.
That's how long it will be. And what it will be, you'll just wrap it round your case carefully, like this, pyar de naal, and it's a case of
Not too tight.
no, not too tight at all. It's a case of just having a case in there. This will actually keep your case in place. It'll keep it straight. It won't tangle anything. It's a case that it'll keep it very secure as well, so you don't have to worry about getting any knots when you unravel it afterwards when you come to taking it off. So initially you're going to tie it like how you tie a jura, if you want, you could say. So you'd
going round and round.
Yeah, it'll be a case you just go round, round, round. And when you're tying a damalla, it's a case that you don't, I know I said not to make it too tight, but it could be the case that you want to make it a bit firm though, so it stays there as well and doesn't get dilla afterwards. So you've put it there. The kapra actually adds, you could say, volume to the size of the star as well. That's the whole point of having a keski underneath as well, is to help with the size of when you're tying a damalla. So this right here it's already grown in size, you could say, with the kapra wrapped in with it. It's a lot bigger than how the jura was when you took the potka off. So we'll start.
Yep,
Yes.
and a keski again is just a smaller version with the star.
Yes,
which
it's just
you
a small version.
You can keep on yourself during the day at home when you're just relaxing. So I do urge you, do tie a keski and just start off with a keski.
Absolutely. Keski is the foundation, so it's always good to start to learn how to tie keski. Again, you'll get used to the kapra, you get used to having kapra in your hand and learning how to tie it. Now, if you're looking to practice full Sikhi and taking Amrit, taking those steps towards being a part of the Khalsa and taking Amrit, it would be the case that right now you would tuck your kanga in at the back here. One of your kakar would sit in the back, you just slide it in underneath the bunga right here, the keski, and you'd put it in there and it would stay there. And what would happen, it would secure it by putting another layer around it, and it'll keep it in there for you, and it shouldn't fall out at all.
Yep, and also when you're Amritar, you're not meant to take your kangars off yourself. So a tip, when you've combed your case with your kanga, put your kanga on your gatra, And then once you've done
Yes.
your jura, then get your kanga out and put it under your case.
Absolutely, absolutely. You should try and keep all Panj Kakar on you at all times.
Yep.
And it would be the case that it's showing that respect for Guruji and this gift
Yep.
you've been given as well.
Definitely. But just
So-
don't forget your kanga. when you
Absolutely.
gatra.
I know,
That
it can be the case where you,
Yep.
if you're in a rush,
Yeah.
your kanga might still be on your gatra when you've
And you're like,
completed your
uh-oh.
keski, and then it's a case of starting again. But,
Yeah.
you know, these
And
are
then
things
it's
that you
always a
overcome.
perfect case that you've got.
Absolutely, then you have to restart. But
Yep.
the other thing as well, just before I start tying a keski, your keski or your damala, whatever you're going to tie, the kapra should not touch the floor.
Definitely.
It would be the case that it's sadkar, it's respect. You should want to tie this and look after this in the same way as you do with your other kakar. Your other kakar you wouldn't take off, so you certainly wouldn't put them on the floor. So it's the case that you keep them on you at all times. Or if you do take it off, you unravel it, you open the kapra, air the kapra out, and respect it, fold it up, and put it away for the next time you're going to tie it again.
So we've got a table here today, and again, just make sure it doesn't never touch the floor.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're just going to start off with the keski. So like I said, we've started off with wrapping the case in the kapra to have the jura at the top here. Like I said, it's obviously added volume to the jura, and it's a case that if we start wrapping round now, so if we go around it,
So round the jura again.
absolutely, you can go around a couple of times depending on how much kapra you've got. So it's a case of, if you know you've got about 4 meters, you may want to go around the kapra, around the jura a couple of times. At the same time, it makes it bigger, it'll make it a bit more solid as well. So you'll cover it over the top. It's not a case of just going round. You go over the top as well. You open the kapra, go over the top, and you go around again, like that.
Okay.
And if you were to have a kanga in here, your kanga would be slotted in the back now, and it would be hidden right now.
Yep.
But it would always be there, and it'd be secure as well right now.
Make sure it's in your hair rather than touching your head, because then that will hurt.
Yes. Make sure
Can
it's
get
firmly put in, and you've put it in carefully. So as Benji said, it doesn't hurt or cause you any discomfort
Yeah.
as time goes on. So okay, so we're just going to unravel this. These are the bits that can get a bit tricky. It's when you're tying it yourself, the kapra, when you're wrapping it around, the kapra can get twisted. So it's a case of being patient and just tying it all carefully and knowing that these things can happen, of course. Okay.
And again, keep practicing, so you won't have a perfect case in your first attempt.
Absolutely.
I certainly didn't.
It's a case that you've got to realise that, I know kids may see sings and singing out the Gurdwara programs or even down the street, and you look at the Dastaar and you
wow.
might be amazed and you think, oh wow, that's perfect. But it's a case that it's a case of practicing. It's like with anything in life. If you're going to do tabla, vajja, learn part, it takes time to actually
Definitely.
master it, you could say,
You're not born
to
with
the best of
gift,
your
yeah.
ability, that is.
Definitely.
So what I'm going to do now, I feel that I've gone around the jura itself a couple of times. Now what I'm going to do is actually start going round the head now. Initially I'm going to go behind his ears.
Okay.
So I'm not going to cover his ears yet.
And also, girls, exactly the same process for us as well.
Hanji.
I just tend to do my jura a teeny bit more looser, but again, it's up to you and it depends on your head.
Yeah. So it's a case that you tie the keski. The keski itself can be a little bit tighter because it's just the foundation underneath.
Yeah.
And it would be the case that you'd want to, like I said, a bit more of a structure. You want it to be the case that it's secure. So when you tie the damala on top, it's a case that you don't have to worry as much of it slipping off or getting loose.
Definitely.
But you don't want it too tight either where it can give you headaches.
Yes,
so it's a
definitely.
case that I've wrapped it round now behind his ears are out, and it's a bit securer now. Now to cover it over the top, because you can still see case at the back, it's a case on the next time I go around,
Yep.
I'm going to lift the kapra over the top. So now I've actually covered the whole of his head. Everything is covered right now.
So each ladder you're going to go up and up for each
Yes. You'll go
ladder. So
higher
not
and
in the
higher.
same place, otherwise it'll
And
be...
when you go higher and higher when tying a keski, it will actually put more pressure on the lad underneath. So you want it tight, but you don't want it too tight where it could possibly hurt.
Yes.
And these are things you will experience. It does take time,
Yes,
but it's again, it's a case of ment and practicing really. So with this keski, we're tying it round again with the last lad. And now it's a case of going a bit higher.
Very nice.
There we go. And all
How
you
does
have to
that
do.
feel? Good?
Is that okay, Tara? Tika. And it's a case with the last bit that you've got left, you just tuck it in at the top or wherever you wish.
Get your fingertips.
Absolutely. And you tuck it away and you're absolutely fine. It's
That's
a case.
perfect.
This is how you'd start tying a keski right now.
So at home, you can just chill like this. Do anything? You can even
Absolutely,
go out.
go out,
If
play
you're comfortable
football.
in that, girls, you
Absolutely,
can
it's
do
perfect way if you start it. I know after speaking to teenagers, I know Taryn's in school right now, he's in year 9.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like leaving school or sixth form, it'll be the case that when he starts fresh, you could say the next step in his education or after school, he will want to start tying a gear ski now. So it's a fresh start. So it's good to start now. Okay, now what we're going to do, like I said, we've tied the gear ski. The gear ski is firmly on. It's secure. Now what we're going to do, we're going to turn this now, the gear ski, into a damalla. Now we're going to tie the kapra on top. The kapra I've got right here actually, it's actually, it's full voile.
Okay.
It's kapra I tend to use quite often really. This is from India, so if you ever go to India, it might be worth going there to getting various kapra, kapra material, various colours. It can be more expensive here and you're limited in the UK.
Definitely, very limited, especially people in Italy and in Europe as well.
It's very limited. So if you go to India, take that opportunity, or if someone's going for you, take that opportunity and put a request in, ask them to bring you some kapra back. You will use the kapra over and over again. This kapra will last years. It will last years.
Definitely.
Even with the kapra that goes over the top to use as a damalla, over time kapra does fade.
Yep.
You could use that kapra as your gear ski underneath.
Yes, that's what. Yeah.
You could use that kapra as gear ski underneath. So it's not a case of I've had enough of that, I'll tuck that away somewhere in my room and not use it again. It's a case that you reuse your kapra, you can use it for football, if you do any other activities. And the same goes for bibia as well. All this is about equality. Anyone can tie this.
Just going forward, this is a gear ski, and if you're thinking what the Dastaar is just another gear ski, isn't it, on top? Another round.
It's another one on top. It could be a Dastaar where I know the bibia may tie a triangle Dastaar where you triangle in the middle and they'll tie, and then after that they'll continuously wrap it around. You can have that as a Dastaar. You could have it as a damalla. You may just want to tie a goal bug on top.
And damalla is what we've just got here. So what's the difference, would you say, between a normal goal and damalla?
It's the way it's tied really. There's a structure to how you tie a damalla, and if anything, a damalla is more secure because of the way it's tied. It puts pressure on the back, pressure on the front, and it's a case that that pressure will actually keep the Dastaar and your damalla on your head. It'll keep it more secure. And it'll put you, like I said, it's about feeling comfortable as well. You'll feel comfortable when your Dastaar is more secure on your head. But again, it's technique. It's something you'll get used to over time. It's very difficult to pick this up over time. I mean, it's very difficult to pick it up instantly. It'll take time, and it's a case of just working at it.
Thank you. So let's start with the damalla.
Yeah. Okay. You can start with any there's no particular end that you would start from. It's a case that you use either side. It's just one length of kapra. Again, this has also been split through the middle, lengthwise. Again, like I said, it can vary. If you got mal, you can have it full width, how it comes off the roll, and use it like that. It's entirely up to yourself, but it's whatever you're comfortable with.
If you find it really thick, you can also put water on, just sprinkles of water to make it softer.
Absolutely. Actually, saying that, a bit of advice: if you get any sort of new kapra, if you buy any sort of new kapra, it's always worth washing it first, because kapra tends to be full of starch when it comes off a roll.
Wash it loads. I'd just leave it overnight in water, and also add some comfort.
If you want, absolutely, because it's full of starch, it can hurt your head when you tie it. It can hurt you. It can cause discomfort on your ears, which is another big problem when you first start tying any sort of damalla or Dastaar or bug. It's a case that it can cause problems on your ears, and it will do over time. But it's a case, first try and look after the kapra you've got as well. Make sure it's as comfortable as possible.
Definitely.
And then work forward from there.
And with time, it does get soft. It gets really soft.
The more you wear into it,
the
better it will be. So I'll put some of the, actually I'll put all of this in Taryn's hands so he can look after it for me.
Careful there.
So what I'm going to do initially, the kapra's half width, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to just halve it like that. I'm not going to tuck it in anywhere. I know I've seen youngsters and people tie a damalla or tie another kapra on top of their gear ski, and sometimes they tend to put it in their mouth. It's not a wise thing to do. Like I said, it's a case of respect. You don't want to put any sort of gear ski or anything in your mouth. I've tied this on Taryn here right now, and it's a case that it hadn't had to go in anyone's mouth. If he ties it himself, he doesn't have to do that. If you start off with the top and make this bit secure, the rest will be fine. You don't have to put anything in your mouth or to secure it. It's a case that I'm going to sit this on top, folded it in half, sit it on top, and wrap it again a couple of times around the top. again, you'll notice it'll increase the height, it'll increase the width as well.
Okay. There's many methods to start at the start, isn't there?
There are.
Everyone's got their different
Some people I
way.
know,
I do it totally different.
some people tend to tie a knot at the back here and then and let it sit at the back. Some people may tuck it in the back of the gear ski at the back, or tuck it in the gear ski somewhere.
If you want to just like a simple goal, shall I just quickly? All I do is so easy. I've tried every method, but this works best. You just cover your Dastaar from the top.
Yeah.
And then the lad up here, you just tuck under, and then you just go round and round.
That's another method
Simple.
of doing it. Absolutely.
So girls might prefer that as well.
You know, choose whatever suits you and go ahead with it. So with this again, I've folded the width in half again, purely to give it a bit more thickness, you could say. And this, because the kapra is quite long, we're going to just wrap it around a couple of times.
Doing this again, it gives it more length, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So it's bigger.
Absolutely.
So again, if you've got no gears, don't worry, because do this and
yeah, if you've got less gears, this is something.
Same method, isn't it?
This is something you may want to do. Just go around a couple of times over the top, especially if you've got a lot more kapra.
If you've got too much hair like myself, if you think, oh my God, my hair's too thick and long, for example, again, you don't have to do this. You can just keep it at minimal, so you just perhaps go around once or not so many times. So
you could go around with a shorter kapra on top.
Yeah.
Again, it's whatever suits you. Don't think that everybody else is tying it this way.
Rule,
yeah, you should. It's not a case of following fashion. A case of everybody ties it this way, so I'm going to. It's whatever suits you.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just going to go around again. Oh, there's a bit of thug on there. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with trying to execute in tying a damalla right now. So I'm going to go straight into it. Now just imagine it's just covered over the top there. You've put the kapra down on the top, and now you're going to start wrapping around. You'd wrap around it once, and you'd go around with this now in order to start tying your damalla. And it's a case that, so if initially you'd start off with, you could say you start off with a triangle. First you're going to like create a V, you could say you're going to go that way, bring it round and bring it up that way. But I'll show you right now. And it would cover the ears now. So it'd cover the whole ear.
Go soft on the ears as well. Don't do it too tight, because it does cause discomfort.
It does.
And girls, if your ears start to hurt, you can just take them out.
Yeah. If your ears do hurt, you can pull the kapra out a little bit. It'll help relieve some of the pain. But again, over time, you'll know how to tie the kapra over your ears as well.
I hate tying it over my ears.
So there's the one side done. Coming around the other side, it's just followed through on the back. And I'm going to cover the other ear now. And it'll be like a triangle over the front. So that's how it looks right now. He's got the triangle right there. As you can see, this is the foundation of the damalla. It's about securing it on your head, so it's covered the ears and the front of the forehead, the back, and it's a case that it will sit there now. It will be the case that we can work on the rest of the damalla now to help secure it and make it look the way it should look. So now that we've gone over the top, the trick to a damalla is now, or the technique I should say, is that you start at the top at the back and you start at the lowest point at the front. And as you go on, the lowest point will go higher and higher at the front, and the high point at the back where you've started off will go lower and lower. So eventually when you finish the last lot, we'll go over the top and you'll tuck it in at the back. But I'll show you now how to go about doing it. So we've gone over the ears, we're going over the top. Again, the more kapra you use, the more it'll get twisted, so be prepared to actually having to do 2 jobs in one go of unraveling and tying your own Dastaar or damalla. So again, we'll cover it at the top, and it's a case we'll bring it down at the front now. So if I'll just sort that out, and it's a case that...
Are you feeling okay?
Are you okay, Tara? And there we go. There's the first lard done, and again we're going back up, but it'll be slightly lower than the first lard we've done at the back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
it's a bit of a slant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is the technique of tying a damalla. A damalla isn't there to look perfect. Every lard should be in place. Every lard should be inch perfect. There should be a gap between each lard. It's a case of just making sure a damalla is tied how a damalla should be tied. That's why it's called a damalla. And it's a case that you'd want to respect it like a damalla. It's not a fashion symbol. It's nothing like that. Again, it's all part of the roop that Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave us, and it's a case that we should respect that, show satkar, and treat it that way as well. It's your identity, that's all it is. It's not a fashion,
Yeah.
it's not a fashion thing or anything like that.
Even girls, you know, don't think you have to match it with your outfits. Just keep it to Khalsa colours.
Yeah.
And avoid bright colours.
Absolutely.
Like pinks and reds.
Absolutely. Okay, now, like I said, we've gone slightly lower at the back. Now we're going to go back to the front. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go slightly above the first lard. So we've gone there now.
Okay, above the first lard.
Just above the first lard there. So you've got the first lard there, second lard there. And it's not a case of identifying each lard either. So it's not when you finish, you should be able to see where each lard is or where it's been placed. It's a case that it's a damalla. It's not there to look pretty. It's there to be respected, and you should tie it in a respectable way so it is respected as well. So the next lard is one down from the back. Okay. And there'll be another one up from the front. Okay.
So you're mainly concentrating the middle bit of the head?
Yeah, now I'm going towards the middle now.
Okay. So you start from the top
to
down. Okay.
I just want to say that I know I'm tying this damalla now, attempting to tie this damalla on Taran. It's a case that you should all practice on yourselves. It'll always turn out differently when somebody else ties it on you.
Definitely.
So the more you practice on yourself, you will develop your own way of tying a damalla and style of tying a damalla. It will come to you automatically.
But don't give up.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't give up.
And
it takes many attempts.
Don't try too hard in trying to make it look like somebody else's.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody has their own individual style. So if you just look this way a bit, Taran. So now I'm just going to go slightly above the last lard. Okay, so if you just look this way a bit. And it can get a bit difficult, especially when you're trying to get on somebody else. So it's a case of, okay.
So it's all about the different kind of ladders, isn't it? The different layers.
So as you can see now, I'm around the middle now. Now it'll be a case of going straight across, but slowly. The back's coming down when I'm tying it at the back. The front will slowly go higher and higher upwards. And as you've noticed, the gearski underneath has almost been completely covered up now.
Yeah, you won't be able to see the gearski.
Yeah, you shouldn't see the gearski underneath at all, really. So it's a case of just...
And also, the International Dastaar Day is about to come up. So all the Italy Sangat or anyone going from here, you know, now's your chance to learn, practice, so you can tie it on the day. So no excuses.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube.
There's loads, yep. All you have to do is go to Google, type how to tie a Gul Dastaar or Damalla.
Look at me.
Many, many links, see which suits you. There are some previous shows that we did on Sikh channel which are there as well. But again, just keep searching for one that suits you.
Absolutely.
So now you're just coming round again.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We're coming towards the end now. And it's a case that the last couple of lard, as you can see, I'm at the bottom at the back now.
Okay.
And
the back's so neat as well. The lard are amazing.
It's a case that the more you tie any sort of Dastaar or gearski, again, you'll get familiar with the kapra. You'll tend to have a feel of how you tie it because your hand tends to guide your kapra when you're starting to wrap it round. So it's a case that the last one will come over the top and it will be brought back down.
The last lard is quite important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the last lard. You could say it kind of helps with the foundation again. It's a kind of case of putting that pressure at the front and the back to making sure all the other lard are firmly in place.
So you're just going up again and down.
Absolutely. So I've done that. You've got a bit of kapra left over. This kapra, you tend to tie in, push in, tuck in now.
Fingertips.
Absolutely. It's all about fingertips. So you'll tuck that in. And you should have a damalla tied on you now.
That is amazing. I love it. Just turn your head so everyone can see the back as well, because the back is quite important.
People see the side.
Wow, look at those lards.
That's how it will look. You'll have the lards coming each. You'll see the lards there, the various lards there, and you'll see the lards there. And it's a case that you start at the front, and it goes up slowly at the back. It starts at the top, and you'll go down. And it's a case that it'll cause more of a firmness on your damalla, really, to help it be more secure.
So how does that feel?
Looks nice.
Looks nice, feels good?
Yep.
Not too tight?
Yep.
Excellent. And will you be tying one to school now? That's the most important question.
Yeah.
Excellent. Also, you can have a salai.
Oh, of course. Of course, if again, like I said, I just want to say, if If your ears are hurting by chance, all you have to do is put your fingers in and pull it out a little, just a bit there, a bit on the other side. It's just to loosen it, just to stop that rubbing of the kapra on your ears, especially if the kapra is a bit tough.
Sometimes it can hurt a lot, so sometimes, not all the time, you can get your salai and just poke it up as well, your head, and that helps a lot.
Absolutely, but as you may have noticed, there's not really any real need to use a salai when tying a damala. It's a case that it'll cover all your case, the front, the back, the sides, it'll cover everything. So it's a case of it'll cover it right from the back,
that's true.
Over the ears, front of the forehead, so you shouldn't see any case anyway. If you want to, if you're tying a case ski,
girls will need to,
it's something light. You don't want any case hanging out the back really. Use a salai just to keep your hair tucked in and keep it nice, neat and covered as well.
That's fantastic. So again, case ski is the smaller Dastaar, the first foundation. Then you can have a Dastaar, which is just another case ski on top of that, which makes a goal or crisscross. And then that's a damalla, with different types of things.
Absolutely.
I am so happy that you guys have come all the way from Willenhall just to teach us how to tie a damalla. Especially to Taran, I'd like to award you a really exclusive Sikh Channel medal. I hope it fits. Let's see.
It should do.
That does, yeah. Excellent. Thank you very, very much. A great inspiration for all the youth watching. And again, girls, you can tie this. It's not just for boys. Be proud of who you are and always think that you're representing God. Now, another really important point is when you have taken the decision to tie the star or the malla, for example, you need to change your actions as well. So don't think, okay, I'm going to tie the malla and I can still do what I used to do.
Yeah.
So actions, you know, speak louder than words. So don't go to wrong places with a Dastaar because, again, you are representing Khalsa and Guruji. And again, you don't want to make an opportunity for people to say, oh, look at that hypocrite, you know, he's tying a Dastaar, but he's not really practicing Sikhi.
Absolutely. Or the other thing is, it's the case that if you maybe go and do something where a Gursikh shouldn't go or shouldn't do something, it's a case that where if somebody else was to view it, it would be the case that they'd find it's acceptable. Now, or if they'll say, oh, I've seen a Sikh do go here or do this, and it would, in somebody else's mind, if someone's not a Gursikh, if someone's not into Sikh, if it's a different dharm, it'd be or religion, it's the case that they would look at it and think, oh, it's acceptable for Sikhs to do these things. So
to go there, or he did it, so I'm going to do it.
You'll always be that role model, that example to other people. So whatever steps you take in life, life's difficult, but please try and ensure you try and take the right ones, really. If you need help, advice, there's always people to help you. You should be able to go to your Gurdwara, hopefully your family, if not your family, friends or anybody else, really.
And I do understand that most families might have problems, you know, letting you tie the Dastaar, because that does happen.
Yeah.
Again, just do a simple ardas and God will listen. You need that thirst and you need to take that step yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you ever so much. I can't thank you guys enough. It's not easy to come and tie the Dastaar, especially be such an amazing guest, Taran. So thank you very much. And thank you as well, Bhagat Veer ji, for coming on. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.